The Last Narc is an excellent documentary series from Amazon that really focuses on the kidnap, torture, and murder of DEA Special Agent Kiki Camarena back in the mid-1980s down in Mexico, and really kind of sheds a light on the various players that are involved in this, including, in fact, possibly some government players. The docu-series really focuses on the kidnap, torture, and murder of Kiki Camarena down in Mexico, and basically the main driver of the docu-series is all-American badass DEA agent, multiple award winner, honored by the president, Hector Berrellez, who is, like I said, he's an all-American badass. This is somebody who you want on your side regardless of what's going on, because he's going to come in, he's going to look at the situation, he's going to put on his cowboy boots, his hat, and say, all right, we're going to get this shit done. And that's really what he does. And in this docu-series, it's 4 parts, and what it does is it focuses on kind of the events leading up to Kiki's kidnap, what goes through it, and afterwards, because it's several years later when Hector is brought in and basically given carte blanche to go in and try to find out what happened to Kiki and bring those that did this to justice. But throughout his investigation, you realize this through the 4 episodes in the series, is that he reaches out and finds various players who basically were just Mexican police officers who were put in an impossible situation where the cartel's like, oh, you work for us, okay, we're going to pay you, because to them, their commanders who are above them, they're going to listen to them. But these commanders are actually paid by the Narcos and well involved in the cartel. In fact, in some of the instances, which they talk about in this series, is that Rafael Quintero and even Don Nito, both of them were, like card-carrying Mexican officials in the special forces or like the higher level of law enforcement. So they basically had carte blanche to go around and do whatever they wanted. And eventually several of these, Mexican officers, kind of realize what's going on. Then after the murder of Kiki Camarena, they kind of go on the run, avoid the Narcos before Hector comes in and starts tracking him down. He brings him in, he gets him, and he does his due diligence to make sure he doesn't influence or alter the investigation, one way over another. And basically, he makes a point of pointing this out on video. He's like, we got these 3 guys, we separated them out, we asked them all the same questions, we compared their stories, all of their stories lined up, so I believe this is true, so this is where we're going for it. And throughout the first few episodes, you kind of see them building up to this, and then by the time you get to the 4th episode in the series, you realize that how shady the actual government is, specifically because this is a highly decorated agent in Hector that they send down there to go look. And the thing is he's like a by-the-book kind of guy that, I'm going to do what's right, I have no influence or nothing pulling me one way or the other. I'm just going to look at the facts and I'm going to write them down. And that's what Hector does. He files his report. He's scolded by his superiors. They tell him to do this. He flies to Washington, meets with several people that are high up in the Reagan administration that tell him, okay, you need to do it like this. You need to go down here. He ends up, and in the 2nd season of Narcos Mexico, you see the doctor who was the one that was like keeping Kiki alive or conscious while they were torturing him. He ends up getting authorization from the high up or the most high guy in the DEA at the time. The director tells him, go ahead and get the doctor. And he's like, well, we can go after the actual drug dealers. No, just go after the doctor. So he goes, captures the doctor, brings him back, does everything he needs to do to get him there. And then basically the government just shits themselves and is like, all right, well, we can't do anything. The doctor's released, goes back to Mexico, gets like a hero's welcome because he didn't snitch. Basically the Narcos were like, cool, way to go. So throughout the series, you really find out how kind of shitty the government is, and a lot of the black ops and special operations that they run, or basically independent and answer to no one, be it Congress or even the executive branch in this case. The documentary does a good job of not bleeding over into conspiracy or anything like that. What it does is it focuses only on the facts and experiences of the people involved, and specifically Hector. He's an honorable, honest man from everything that I can tell. And it's one of those ones that he doesn't change throughout the documentary. He's the same person. He wants justice. That's what he's looking for. That's all he's after. And then he's naive in the way that he believes that the government has the best interests of the people at heart. And then he starts to see that's not the case. His superiors basically run interference on him. Go do this, go do that. Well, I need to do this to catch the criminal. Well, you can do that later. Go do this. We'll focus on this. And throughout the series, you can just see the disgust that he has at the system that he works for. He's a part of it. He's a special special DEA agent who's won numerous accommodations. So in all reality, he should be one of the people who is easiestly to influence because he's part of the system. He is an honorary, high-achieving member of the system, but he doesn't because he doesn't care about that. He only cares about finding the truth, preserving the memory and legacy of Kiki, and bringing to justice those who did it. And at the end of the docu-series, you see that this is a man who everything he's done has been to try to help or cause a bit of change to save people. And you can see that he's just, by the end of it, he's dejected. He's been trying to tell this story since the 80s because it was in the end of the 80s, early 90s, once he got all the facts together and tried to go after him. And whatever he did, he was shut down. And it's a very heartfelt story, and I would absolutely recommend it for anyone that has time to watch it because it does kind of shed the light on the war on drugs and how it's not as clean or as dirty as one may think. It's a very gray area with a lot of government actors involved in it, along with a lot of high-profile and high-power individuals who have the money and the influence to push around certain things and get the results that they're wanting. Like I said, I would definitely recommend this. Other than that, thank you. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and have a good day.